forgotten how to do this. Just trying to get my chins out of the shot. Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to be filming this. As you can probably work out, I haven't filmed anything in quite a while, so I'm a little bit rusty, don't mind me. I feel like at the start of every single video I've made, I have given some explanation or some excuse as to why there has been such a delay. But I don't want to explain the entire sequence of events, but maybe I try and summarize it for you in a bit of a bullet point list, verbally spoken. Also, I'm not sure what direction I'm facing when I am filming this, so I hope the light's okay. But essentially, the last video I made was of the Flanders Recon, and then I was going to make a video of the Tour of Flanders, but procrastination happened. Maybe I can put in a few clips that I was going to upload into a video and did actually start editing but never finished. I'll pop some of those in at some point during this video. Sliding my way into Flanders Week like.
Good afternoon, YouTube.
That's what I did. Is it normal? Cheers to today. Heading down the back. Yeah. Coolest pets in the pillow. Say hi to your mum. Hi, mommy. Say hi to your wife. Team presentation, here we come. Oh, man.
What are you doing?
I've got a YouTube channel.
You have a YouTube channel, and what's the name of your channel?
Ella Harris, and this is very good content for it actually.
That's actually such a good name, Ella Harris. Oh, and how many followers do you have on YouTube?
I hit 1,000 last week, so if you'd like to give me a subscribe, then 2,000 would be a good target.
So everyone needs to subscribe today on your channel.
Race is over. We're back at the Hippodrome now. I will debrief with the viewers, the GoPro, once I've had a bit more of a chance to cool down and let off steam and reflect properly on the race, because there were lots of good things to come out of it despite the 3 mechanical stops. And then did Tour of Flanders, had that video that wasn't really happening, and then I went to the Spanish races. Oh, I went to the Ardennes, did the Ardennes. There were a few races in between. Then I went to the Spanish races, and I had a good first race in the Spanish block at the Navarra Classic, and then the next race was the Itzulia Women's Tour, and I crashed, and ever since then I have been suffering with the effects of post-concussion syndrome. Not debilitating effects, just subtle symptoms that make bike riding and bike racing a little bit of an arduous task. And if you can see, I have this little scar on my face as a memento from that crash at the Itzulia Women's Tour. But I think I'll go into the crash and the concussion details a little bit later on in this video, and as I go through my day today I will bring you up to speed with what has happened and fill in some of the gaps so we can get this YouTube channel back rolling again. But basically it's not really that fun to edit videos when you have a concussion, and didn't really feel like being on technology much at all for the first wee while, and then as I've been working through this concussion, I haven't really had the most exciting content to post. And I'm not saying I have exciting content to post now, but let's hope that it's somewhat informative and somewhat interesting. Let's see where the GoPro takes us. I've already had breakfast, so I can't film myself making that. I can't show you what I had, but I can tell you I had toast and a peach or a plum, and I also had a coffee. So yeah, you're up to speed with my day now. Welcome. I decided today's a day where I'm filming a YouTube video. I'm coming back on YouTube after my hiatus.
Oh yeah?
And you're going to be in it now.
Oh, what a treat.
Yeah, hang on, let me just turn off Lizzo so we don't get copyrighted. Makes it sound like I actually like Lizzo's music, but I just like having something in the background. Just doing my morning activations. Just a few little strength warming up exercises before I get on the bike this morning, because unfortunately my hip issues haven't gone away. Well, my hip weakness hasn't gone away since I've been concussed. It's still there, so now I'm confusing my exercises. I'm trying to do too many things at once. Just do a couple squats and then I think I'm ready. I'm just doing the bare minimum. This is my favourite. I came up with it myself, if you couldn't guess. Great, I feel good to go. Here we have Tom getting the shots for a top secret video project. TBC.
TBC. Well, it's already confirmed.
It's confirmed. It's
just a secret.
Yeah. And when will it come out? Who knows? It's in the pipeline though. That's what my viewers need to know.
It's up to you when it comes out.
Oh,
Depends
okay.
what happens next, isn't it?
Oh yeah, true.
The story's half written. Just
on the turbo indoors for half an hour or so, as you can see. Doing an indoor warm-up before I go outdoors for 90 minutes or so, see where the road takes me today. But it just makes me feel better to go riding outside when I'm warmed up, the blood's pumping, and makes me feel a little bit better in the head. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm going to ramp it up from recovery heart rate to tempo heart rate, so maximum 170 BPM. That gets the heart racing. Quite a bit of puffing involved at the end, but I am not basing it off watts at this point in time because I don't really have any left anymore. Hopefully they come back soon. But until then, we're just basing it off the heavy breathing. Some goobers for the camera. Just cooling down now. We got up to 181 BPM today. No footage of that because things were getting serious. But now, 5 minutes cool down, added up to half an hour, and then it's time to go outside. Ciao! Classic Girona influencer with the camera on the back. This escalated fast.
It's perfect, everything's fine.
Okay, set and forget. Okay, we're out and about now. We're moving. We are heading up Els Angels, classic climb in Girona. You can tell I haven't filmed for a while because I brought my massive selfie stick tripod out today instead of bringing the bike mount, but that's all right. Try and get some nice shots anyway. We're being chased. Uh-oh. I don't like getting past, but I'm very unfit and my legs are very weak, so it's a real possibility right now. On the 160s already. 7 minutes in. It's gonna be a long one. Go past, please. Hola.
Yeah.
That's really annoying of me. I just ruined the shot by getting my GoPro out exactly where Tom was taking a picture. Oh well. Plenty more nice curves on this road. He'll find another one, I'm sure. half of L's and gels, I would say now. We're just taking it a little bit tentatively because there was quite a lot of rainfall yesterday afternoon and overnight. Rather unusual for Girona. So the roads are rather greasy and damp still. So we're not taking any risks on this training ride, playing it safe and enjoying the slightly cooler but sunny and refreshing conditions this morning. It's rather lovely up here. What else can I tell you? This is probably my 5th proper ride on the road in a good 2 months. I will tell you later how I actually got to this point, but I'm slowly building up the outdoor riding now. Concussion symptoms are feeling good. Head feels fine. So today we will do 90 minutes or so. And because of that, I think I should tuck into a snack now.
Okay, in the film.
For a Life Plus bar, what do you reckon? Naranja and chocolate. What's the word for bar in Spanish? I can't remember. We'll just call it a bar, eh? Barita? Barito. Merienda. Made it to the top, thankfully. A shot of somebody coming up down there on the road, yeah.
No, I can.
That's quite a bit of organisation, don't you think? Would you yell across the valley and say, "Come now"?
You know what? I have radios.
Oh, walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
That's it. This is my favourite spot on L's and Gels, I think. I'm descending like a Zwift rider today. The former Zwift rider that I am. People seem to think that Zwift riders can't descend very well, and I think I'm certainly living up to that today, but the roads are a little bit wet and I haven't descended in quite some time. In fact, this is probably my first time in 2 months that I've been down here, so it's quite the occasion and I am very much enjoying being back out in this scenery. Snapping some pics while we're at it. We did indeed just attempt that long range shot. And we will continue our post-concussion / coming out of concussion content ride. Guess that's what you can call it. Skirt, skirt! Gee whiz! What an entrance! To the right. Nice little spot, isn't it? A wonderful low-key view of the Empordà region, I would say.
Not even low key, it's lovely.
Okay.
High key.
I just thought it's because there's not much elevation going on.
Oh, you get a window
But-
into it.
Yeah. This is definitely the Lion King scene though, isn't
Yeah.
it? Simba, you see that town? You must never go there. Something like that, I think. Yeah.
I'm sure it's not that, but
That'll do. If you know, you know. And I'll insert the reference now at this point in the video.
What about that shadowy place?
That's beyond our borders. You must never go there, Simba.
I'm also pleased with these new lenses. They look quite sharp, quite classy. Whoa! Gnarly, dude! That hip angle though. Arrow was en route to my favourite cafe now. Best coffee in town to be found at Idle Hands. Vamos! So I made the rookie error of not turning my GPS back on after riding indoors. So I have 0 kilometres on the on the Wahoo today. Hour 55 though, 167 average watts, so stomping. And what other stats can I show you? Not too much to see. A fabulous left-right power balance, but we're working on that. The right leg will get stronger eventually, I'm sure of it. I have faith in the process, so I'll just keep chipping away at that. Oh, here is my coffee. Thank you very much.
Cheers, enjoy.
Thank you. I would say that Idle Hands has the best coffee in Girona. It's just delicious. That is my hot take. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I feel like I'm not qualified to comment, but it's my favourite so far.
It's a good start.
Also nice and shady, nice and
Was
quiet.
it better than the coffee that you had at my apartment this morning with my supermarket beans?
You know what? It was pretty good. You've got to edit this out. You can't put this in, but actually, this homemade jet blasted coffee was actually a pretty close second.
But there isn't really anywhere to hide with the Americano, is there? Whereas I've got some milk, which you can hide the mistakes with. And also sometimes the first sip of a coffee isn't that good. You need to get through it a little bit more, yeah.
I think I drank
So just give it some time, it'll mature. Tom has an apology to make.
best coffee in Girona. Just needs to cool down.
You just got to give these things time.
Let it mellow.
Yeah, they mellow over the course of 5 minutes, then the final sips are just exceptional.
Delightful.
I'll just give you a little porridge tip that you might like to try at home. Some may say that porridge isn't very appropriate for lunch. It's not your typical lunch meal, but I'm feeling like it right now because the weather's calling for it. So I'm looking forward to eating this. But my tip is that if you have things that you like to put on the top of your porridge, I instead treat them as bottomings. So you put them in your bowl. So I have my apple here. I also have some apple in the porridge. I have the apple here. I have the yogurt, which normally would go on top. And I have some pumpkin seeds. But now I'm going to put my porridge, once it's cooked, over the top. So then I can dive in and get the toppings. And I'm not just eating them straight from the top. I'm eating them from the bottom, hence bottomings. Isn't that just genius? Just past 6 p.m. now, if you want a timestamp, but I am heading to the park across the other side of town to register for what is a big event tomorrow. It is the Bombers, or the Bombears running race, and since I've been concussed and I haven't been riding as much, I have gotten into running just a little bit, a couple of times a week. I ran 12k last week, so that's the longest that I have run thus far. But tomorrow I'm doing a 10k running race and I'm a little bit nervous about it, but also quite excited. I think I'm mainly nervous because if I go out too fast and I'm suffering, then I am going to blow up big time. Yeah, I think this is us. This is who we're racing for tomorrow. The firefighters, the bombers, bombears. Good morning everyone. It's the next day now, race day. Didn't think I would be saying that in a while. It's just touching on 8 a.m. and the race starts at 10 a.m. So I need to have some breakfast quite pronto because I do not want a case of the runner's runs, if you know what I mean. So I need to get that fuel on board and have it nicely digested before I hit the pavements, before I pound the pavements. Just here at my morning park up, watching the world go by. Breakfast is down the hatch and I'm just finishing off my coffee, but I thought now was a good time to fill in all the missing pieces as to what's been happening with my concussion and what I've been up to these past few months. Hello again, don't mind me, I'm just getting comfy. This is Ella, nearly 3 months on now, reporting for duty once more. I am in the same location, but understandably the mug is now empty and the TT bike still hasn't moved, if you can see that in the corner of the frame. So after I filmed this video, I had a busy couple of weeks because my brother came from New Zealand. He was visiting Europe for the first time, so we did a 2-week holiday together, and I really should have foreseen the fact that I just wouldn't have time to edit this video, but I still filmed it anyway. Before I go into what I have been up to in the past 8 weeks after my brother left, I thought I would bring you up to speed with the timeline that my concussion has taken thus far, because maybe it's relatively interesting to you and informative. Perhaps you've been wondering what I've been up to all this time, so let's get into that, shall we? 12th of May at the Azulia Women's Tour. I crashed and I spent the next week not admitting to myself or having the wisdom in my own mind or coming from others that I really needed to just shut things down, use some form of concussion protocols, and accept that I would not be racing in the following days or the week after. Eventually that happened and I returned to Girona after 1 week, where I promptly hit the wall and spent the next month trying to rid myself of a variety of concussion symptoms. Nausea or motion sickness whenever I tried to ride outside, a constantly throbbing head, and just very low energy levels. So after 6 weeks, I was able to go on little drives. I went to Font Romeu and Andorra. I was able to ride my bike for over 3 hours, but I think I did a bit too much too soon, and in mid-July, I steadily deteriorated again. So my energy levels were very low. I was basically back to zero in terms of my concussion symptoms. The motion sickness, nausea had returned on the bike, and sometimes I would just go straight back to bed after breakfast because I just felt too tired to continue with my morning at 9 AM. So after that, I saw a concussion specialist online who properly was able to diagnose the specific type of concussion that I had. He gave me some exercises to do, but unfortunately I didn't really notice any improvements. I think that was just because of the online nature of the consultation, and it just wasn't really working out for me. I was doing a lot of this and a lot of this, but didn't really make any progress, I felt, just in my overall symptoms and how I felt day to day. So I was working a lot with Kat Steen at Forza 13 in Girona, and she suggested that we start to take a look at my neck. So we did a lot of work loosening up my neck, which was very stiff. And then because my mum has had a lot of head knocks in her time, she swears by going to an osteopath. So I decided to pay an osteopath a visit here in Girona, and he also started working on my neck. I don't know why I need to demonstrate my neck movements to you when I'm talking about it. Let me get back on track. So I went to visit the osteopath, and now this is where things get interesting, because I visited the osteopath, then I felt absolutely terrible afterwards because the next day I tested positive for you know what. I don't think I can say the actual name because the YouTube algorithm may not like it, but I tested positive for that. And then I spent the next week lying very low, hardly doing anything. And once I had finally got rid of the virus and I was starting to get back to normality again, I honestly felt reborn. I felt rejuvenated. I felt so much better than I did before I had you know what, and had also visited the osteopath. But afterwards my energy levels were so much better, my head symptoms had significantly reduced, and I was even able to ride outside for a little bit. So who knows, maybe the COVID was the magic ingredient that I needed. At this point I think I'm just going to refer to my notes so I can read you out what I want to say in a short and concise manner, otherwise this video might take a while. So let me just refer to what I have written down. So basically everything I have described was up until the point that I filmed this video, well, filmed the clips previously that you saw. And I'm happy to say that things have moved on fairly nicely since then. I did see a concussion specialist in Barcelona who told me that the roller coaster I've been on is typical of a long concussion, unfortunately, and eventually it will go away. So that was great advice and left me having a clear plan for the future. The only lingering symptom for me from my concussion right now is this feeling of tension and heaviness in my head, especially when I have a helmet tightened around my noggin, which is essentially whenever I try and go out and ride my bike. I would describe it as a very dull ache or almost a very low-key tension headache, like a 2 out of 10. It's now manageable and barely noticeable most days, but sometimes it might creep up to even a 3 out of 10, and at that point it becomes quite uncomfortable and not very pleasant to put up with. Plus, it's not probably very wise for my overall long-term health to just ride through it. So there are some days where the tension feels a little stronger and I just make a sensible decision and do something else or start my day in a slightly more relaxed way, whether that's just chilling on the couch, reading a book, doing some study, or going for a run instead, because running helps get my blood flowing and it makes me actually feel quite good when it comes to getting on the bike. So sometimes I do that in the morning instead. And then when it comes to energy levels, they are now consistently very good, and I can actually plan activities for the next day knowing that I will have the energy to do them when I wake up in the morning. So that's an added bonus. That also segues nicely into the last 6 weeks where I have been actually capable of following a training program once more. But capable strictly refers to my physical level rather than my mental restraint and discipline with not doing more than planned. That's not a strong point of mine if you haven't already guessed. What else do I want to tell you? Although the race I did after I filmed this video was absolutely awful, that's why there are no clips of it, I have managed to continue my running 2 to 3 times a week once I got back from the little holiday with my brother, and I even managed to win the short 13-kilometre course at a local trail race in Girona a couple of weeks ago. So that was a bit of fun. It was only the short event, I will emphasise. It was not the 21-kilometre or the 50-kilometre, it was just the 13, but I was still the first placed female, so I was quite chuffed. And it was a very unexpected result, so I was rather pleased with myself. But I started running because it didn't aggravate any of my concussion symptoms, while at the same time riding outside would. So I have decided that I would like to try and keep that up, because I have now got my running fitness to a point where I can run at any speed. Well, I can run at a reasonable speed and it's actually quite comfortable and it doesn't hurt, compared to when you first start running and no matter the speed you run at, it's always painful. I can now run and it's actually quite enjoyable, and I can take in the scenery and just enjoy being out there and not feel like I am struggling and on the verge of collapsing. So I would like to maintain that initial base that I have built, but the negotiations with my coach are still ongoing about this, and I hope that I can run maybe once or twice a week going into the future. But yeah, just watch this space. I'm not entirely sure about how it will fit into proceedings. Thirdly, understandably the most important part, the bike riding. It has been progressing nicely under the watchful eye of my strict coach, Will. Currently I'm doing around 12 to 15 hours per week, 2 to 3 hours at once, and I even pressed the lap button for the first time in 6 months a few weeks ago, and now I have done a few interval sessions. Got a couple under my belt. Don't you worry, now we're getting towards the latter end of my spiel, so hang tight, stay with me, we're nearly there. In between the sporty things, I have just enjoyed hanging out in and around Girona for the various festivals, meeting up with friends. I had a quick trip to the UK for 2024 team things, finished uni for the year, have spent a lot of time in my kitchen, exploring the local surrounds, the Girona, Catalonia province, I've done a bit of that. I also went on a running shoe only 3-night trip to Edinburgh to see the Christmas markets and explore the city, so European Christmas market tick. And I also just returned from the gorgeous sunny Denia, where I had a 10-day team training camp for preparing for next year as well. So that was a lot of fun, and I had a very enjoyable time hanging out with everyone from the team. Actually felt a little bit sad when I came back to Girona because I wasn't surrounded by people 24/7 and I didn't have an amazing buffet that I was eating at. I had to prepare everything for myself and it was just a little bit glum for a couple of days. It was like the holiday hangover I had after leaving my brother. Not quite so bad, but yeah, I just felt a little bit sad that it was over actually. So that's a telltale sign that you had a good time, which is not a bad thing. I probably should wrap this video up now, but in case you're wondering what my plans are for the near future, then I am going home to Dunedin for Christmas, just in time for Christmas. In 4 days' time, I leave on the 18th of December, but that is all from me at this point in time. I am now going to hand back to Ella 3 months ago or so to bring this video to a close. I think it's time to pin on the number and get ready to run now. So thank you very much for your loyal support and following this channel while I've been a little MIA. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I will catch you whenever there's a next time, which I hope is not too far away.